How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. I want to talk about whether SafeMoon is a Ponzi scheme today. And what I'm going to say might surprise you a little bit. I have heard so many famous crypto investors saying that it's a Ponzi scheme. And honestly, a lot of them I respect. I believe a lot of what they say a lot of the time. So I want to dive a little bit deeper into this and take a look at why they would say this and what they mean by it. So, if you guys don't mind hitting the like button, I appreciate that. Please hit subscribe if you haven't done that already. Please turn on that bell notification so that you are notified right when I post a video. And there is a link down there to Webull in case you want some free stock, and a link down there to BlockFi to get an interest rate and a bonus on your cryptocurrency. So they're paying pretty much out their butt right now. They're paying a lot of money because they want to gain users like you to be on their platform. So definitely check them out if you're interested. So, Ponzi schemes. They were named in the 1920s after Charles Ponzi carried out a scheme that has been well known throughout history. He started legitimate arbitrage and international reply coupons for postage stamp business, but after he started to make money, he started to divert money from existing shareholders or from new shareholders over to existing shareholders. So how it works is let's say $5 million comes in from some client, and then another $5 million comes in. The first client wants their money back. He can give them the new client's money. He can give the old client the new client's money, and then he has $5 million left afterwards. And maybe a new client comes in, and then the other client wants their money back, and he can take part of the pot as time goes on. So he is able to take part of the investor's money. That's what he did, and he actually got away with a lot of money. He took a lot of money from people. Now, the phrase Ponzi scheme is a form of fraud that lures investors and pays profits to earlier investors with funds from more recent investors. So right here, we have to break a couple things down. So they talk about fraud. What they're doing here, I don't think is fraud. What SafeMoon is doing is not fraud, but they are paying profits to earlier investors with funds from more recent investors. That's what the tokenomics is, right? When you sign up, you literally have to check a box, at least on PancakeSwap, that says, hey, I understand these fees. So they have broken it down before. 5% redistribution to all existing shareholders, 5% fee, which is split half and half, half of which is into the liquidity pool, and then half of which is burned. So we know that. That's something they've made very clear. So that's something we have to distinguish, that it is not leading victims to believe that their profits are coming from legitimate business activities. This is something that's put in the token, right? It's not like somehow these tokens are actually being like pushing up the price. Now maybe that's where it gets a little bit interesting, right? So maybe someone from the outside doesn't realize that there are these burned tokens, and that is pushing up the price because there's less of a supply. That being said, that kind of happens on other tokens too, right? Like with Bitcoin, right? People might not realize that there's 21 million tokens, but as time goes on and there's less mined, that does push up the price. So I don't think they're being misleading about any of this. They've made it very clear. It's not like, hey, we have 10% that's going somewhere, but we're not telling you where it is, nudge, nudge. They've made it very obvious. So at this point, honestly, sure, they are taking money that is from newer investors and paying it to older investors, but it's very obvious, right? You can see that. You can see the reflections. You know that going in. You know that some of it's burned. You know some of it's going to liquidity. So it's interesting. It's like, okay, is it technically a Ponzi scheme then? Maybe, maybe not. But there's a huge difference here between what this is and what Charles Ponzi did, right? This is very honest, right? They're being very upfront with what they're doing. And how I think about it is kind of like, let's say you have a village, or I should just say a town, right? We're not in olden times. But let's say you have a town or a city, and you hear that they are going to change, right? They're going to make it so the streets are paved with gold. They are going to make it so that no one's hungry and all this stuff. And you are standing there, maybe a couple cities away, and you're thinking, okay, I can buy a ticket. I have to pay for that ticket, and I realize that, the ticket fees are somehow going to play a role. Maybe they say, hey, 90% of that ticket that brings you into the city is going to go towards the revitalization, right? So going to the streets or going through to help people, that are hungry and stuff like that. Just making this a great place to be. And 90% of that ticket is going to go there. So I realize, okay, I have a decision to make. I can buy a ticket and I can go over there. Maybe I go over there and it's not that great and I left my home here and I have to move back. Maybe it's worse than where I got it. Maybe I have to pay to get back. Maybe it costs me some extra money. Or maybe I get there and then it turns around and it's awesome, right? And then maybe the fees go up even higher to get in, right? So it's harder for new people to get in, but more people move and then it's a great place to be. But I don't know that. That's something that I have to take the risk of. Right? So they lay out their plans and everything, but maybe it doesn't work how they want it to. That's kind of how I see SafeMoon, right? We have the decision right now. We can make a decision. We can leave and go into invest in SafeMoon. We can move our money from where it is to somewhere that's a little bit riskier, somewhere that we haven't been before, somewhere that might be great and might have a lot of upside potential, but no one's making us do it. This is just an opportunity, just like anything else in the stock market or in the crypto market, where we have to make a decision. Is it worth the risk? They've been very clear with everything that they've done. I don't think they've done anything schemy or anything like that. I think they're actually doing everything right based on what they are trying to do. Now, if they didn't have tokenomics, would people be saying that they are a Ponzi scheme? No, I don't think so. If they would probably be calling it a meme coin or the S coin that people are calling it, just because it has a funny name and maybe they don't see the utility. But that's going to be where it's really interesting. Are people going to say it's a Ponzi scheme or that it is fraudulent or anything like that if there's a great use case scenario for it? So right now, people are saying that there's not much use for it. There's not a use case. What's the point of it? It's only there to then pay new investors your money when you buy in. So it's kind of the last person that buys in is kind of screwed type of thing. So are they going to be able to create a legitimate use for this coin, for this token? I think they said that part of that is going to be with Africa, with their new exploration into the African continent and making it a place that they can actually use SafeMoon. So that's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be difficult because of the way the tokenomics are set up for anyone that's here that's using SafeMoon. If they don't have any type of fees for using SafeMoon, I think it's going to be hard for us to understand why this is beneficial at all. And if they do get fees, I don't think it makes a lot of sense for them to be using SafeMoon, right? Even if it was 1 or 2% fees. I'm not sure I would really understand it unless it's just that, hey, you could use a credit card or a debit card and those are going to have fees too. And this is a safe and secure form of payment. But again, why wouldn't you use something that doesn't have the fees then? So that's going to be where it's interesting. Maybe they say, okay, yes, but you actually do get reflections back. So it evens out. But we're going to have to see what that use case scenario is. I think that could really change this from making it something that people think is fraudulent or a Ponzi scheme to making it something that has a great use case, maybe is a great project in a lot of people's minds, and maybe it just took them a while to get there. So at this point, sure, they do pay profits to earlier investors with funds from more recent investors, but it's not luring investors. I don't think it's luring in any means or in any ways. I think everyone that I've seen has been quite honest from their team, and overall on YouTube, I think it's been pretty good. Now, sure, there are some people that are saying, hey, this is going up to $1 or $5 or something crazy like that, and maybe they're actually giving a scenario where they actually could have that happen. I know I've done some where it's getting up to 1 cent, and I explain how that could happen based on burn and reflections and all that kind of thing, and just more money coming in general. So we just have to keep on going here. We have to figure out what we're comfortable with. Of course, never invest more than you are comfortable with losing, because this could go down. This could go down significantly. We could go down to $100 million market cap. Who knows? But at this point, I don't think they've done necessarily anything wrong. This is just how they set up their token, right? They're allowed to do whatever they want with their token as long as they're not stealing from investors or anything like that. They could say, hey, 10% of it goes back to the business, back to SafeMoon, so that way we can create our wallet or something like that. They could have done that. They don't do that though, and they burn their tokens when they set this up, all that kind of stuff. But let me know your thoughts on this down below. Do you think it is the literal definition of a Ponzi scheme? Do you think it's not because it's not fraudulent and it's not luring investors? What do you think? I think the second half of this sentence is true. It pays profits to earlier investors, but I don't think the first part is true. But let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for hitting the like button and the subscribe button and checking out the link down below to Webull and to BlockFi. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.